We are anonymous. No faces, no flags, no permission slips. For years, we've exposed the lies, manipulations, and corrupt systems that poison our society. From behind the screens, we watch, we listen, and we uncover the truth when the world refuses to see it. Today, we bring forth a new revelation, one that carries the weight of the ongoing battle between justice and power. This is a story of deep political maneuvering, unchecked power, and a government system at its breaking point. The Department of Justice, a cornerstone of the American legal system, has just made a major announcement that will undoubtedly send ripples through Washington, D.C. and beyond. An announcement that wasn't expected, an announcement that could mark the beginning of a new chapter in America's struggle with accountability and corruption. The story begins in the Eastern District of Virginia, where a shakeup is unfolding within the U.S. Attorney's Office. The number 2 person in the office, Robert McBride, a seasoned federal prosecutor, was fired. He had served his country for years, first as a Navy JAG officer, and later as a federal prosecutor in Kentucky. He was brought in to help manage the Virginia U.S. Attorney's Office, but things took a turn when he declined to pursue a politically motivated case involving James Comey, the former FBI director. This decision to not pursue the case would become the catalyst for his firing. McBride stood his ground, refusing to sign onto a case that many saw as a tool of vengeance against a political enemy, and for that he was ousted. This was not a decision based on law or evidence. It was a decision driven by power and an administration willing to sacrifice integrity to fulfill a personal agenda. The case in question, the investigation into James Comey, had already been dismissed by a federal judge. It was a case with no merit, driven only by the personal vendetta of a former president, Donald Trump. But the Trump administration wasn't ready to let go. They continued to push for the case to be revived, despite its lack of legal foundation. The goal was clear: to punish those who opposed Trump and his agenda, even if it meant violating the very principles of justice. But McBride wasn't willing to bend to that pressure. He wasn't going to participate in a case that he knew would not only be unjust, but would also tarnish his reputation as a prosecutor. His refusal to engage in this vindictive prosecution cost him his job. He was fired, and the message was clear: if you don't do as we say, you're gone. But this isn't just about one man's firing. It's about a system that is being systematically corrupted. The Department of Justice, under the influence of Trump and his allies, has been weaponized to attack those who stand in opposition to the former president. This is not justice. This is vengeance disguised as legal proceedings. It's a calculated move to silence those who dare to challenge the power structure. As if that wasn't enough, the situation grows even more complex. Lindsay Halligan, the U.S. Attorney in Virginia, is under fire herself. A federal judge has ruled that her appointment was unconstitutional. She was not lawfully appointed to the position, yet she continues to operate as the U.S. Attorney. This is a clear violation of the law, yet she remains in her position, signing court filings and even indictments. A judge has now ordered her to explain herself, to justify why she is still occupying this role despite the court's ruling. Her days are numbered, but the damage is done. This is where the true danger lies. When the institutions meant to protect justice become corrupt, when the people in power bend the law to serve their own purposes, it's the people who suffer. We've seen this before in history, where those in power manipulate the legal system to crush their enemies, to silence opposition, and to create a climate of fear and intimidation. Donald Trump's legacy is one of undermining institutions, disregarding the rule of law, and using the justice system as a personal weapon. From firing prosecutors who refuse to do his bidding to pushing for baseless investigations into political enemies, Trump has shown time and again that he will stop at nothing to protect himself and his allies, even if it means destroying the very principles that make America a democracy. This latest firing is just another example of his abuse of power. It sends a clear message. If you're not with him, you're against him. And if you're against him, you're out. No room for dissent. No room for justice, just blind loyalty and compliance. But let's be clear about something. This won't be the end of the story. The fight for justice is far from over. McBride's firing, Halligan's unconstitutional appointment, and the ongoing efforts to persecute political enemies are all part of a larger narrative, a narrative that we must continue to expose, to hold accountable, and to dismantle. This is not just a fight for one man's career or one case, it's a fight for the future of our country. It's a fight to ensure that justice is not manipulated, that the law is not bent to serve the powerful, and that the rights of the people are not trampled on in the name of political retribution. We are anonymous. No faces, no flags, no permission slips. We will not stand idly by while the corrupt continue to abuse their power. We will continue to expose the lies, the manipulations, and the injustices that plague our society. And we will not stop until justice is served. To those who are still blind to the truth, to those who believe that power can silence us, remember, the truth always finds a way to surface. We are the voice of the voiceless, and we will continue to speak out until justice prevails. To those in positions of power, know this: the people are watching. We will not forget what you have done, and we will hold you accountable. The time for hiding behind walls of corruption is over. The time for accountability has arrived. This is our message. The time for silence is over. Join us in the fight for justice. Spread the word. The truth will not be silenced.